I would like to propose a motion to adopt the minutes of the audit committee meeting held on October 14th, 2025. Let me then poll each of you. Dr. Katz?
Yes.
Frida Wan?
Yes.
Anita Kawatra?
Yes.
Tricia Tate?
Yes.
Thanks. So, minutes approved. So, make a motion now to enter into executive session to discuss confidential and privileged matters that may be related to threatened and potential litigation. Any seconds?
Second.
All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, say no. So let's, I ask that only those specifically invited proceed to the adjacent conference room. So, see you in a minute. So we're back from executive session. Let's now go to open session. Now we will have a presentation of the fiscal year 2025 management letter. Mr. Guzman.
Good morning. So I'm joined here by the KPMG team, Maria Tiso, who will be going through the management letter in relation to the 2025 audit for Health and Household Corporation. So I'll recognize Maria Tiso now.
Good morning, everybody. So I'm Maria Tiso. I'm the lead audit partner for the audit. Joining me and my colleagues, Camille Fremont. She's another audit partner, and Yimiao Chen, who's a senior manager. So back in October, we came to this committee when we presented our final audit results for the 6/30/2025 audit. At that meeting, we had discussed that we had one management letter as it relates to the accounting for the accuracy of claims paid expense for Metro Plus, and we were still working through the finding at that point in time. So we are completed with that comment, and my colleague Camille and Yimiao will share that with you. If you recall, we weren't sure if that was going to be a significant deficiency or material weakness at that point in time, but we determined that it was a significant deficiency, which is required to be shared with the audit committee. There's also another comment in the letter, which is a comment from the prior year's audit. So we're required to include the status of prior year comments. It was a material weakness as it related to the accounting for the actuarial determined liabilities. And if you remember, in the prior year, we did restate the opening beginning balances. That comment has been remediated and cleared. So I just wanted to communicate that to the committee. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Yimiao and Camille, who will just give you a high-level summary of the significant deficiency in the current year. And they worked extensively with the Metro Plus management team on this.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Again, thank you for having us here today to close the loop on this, if you will. So during our test work for the 6/30/25 audit, we looked at the accuracy of claims for Metro Plus. We did a sample of 129 claims that were paid by Metro Plus during the time frame of January 1st of 25 through June 30th of 2025. The reason we did that time period was, as you remember, Metro Plus has a year-end calendar audit, so we leveraged the work for the first half of the year that was in the 12/31/24 Metro Plus audit, brought that forward to here. We will again leverage this work as we do the 12/31/25 audit and test that remaining time period. So again, that was the time period that we were looking at. And in there, we found 3 instances where claims are not paid accurately. Now, individually, each of these 3 claims were not by themselves a large amount. However, when we run it through our sampling tool, there is the potential that it can extrapolate to a number that is larger than the individual items. So taking all that into account, understanding the incremental high-level monitoring controls that Metro Plus has in place, such as weekly check runs and high-dollar claims reviews, we felt comfortable that they mitigated the risk of material misstatement. So now we're in between a control deficiency and a significant deficiency. We've been able to step back from that material weakness, which would be a potential for a material misstatement. The totality of the evidence, it is somewhat of a manual process. The acknowledgement by management of what the remediation actions that they will go through. We felt that this was something that was important enough to merit the attention of management, and just given the volume of claims that are processed, it could potentially become a number larger than something that could sit at a control deficiency. So as a result of that, both quantitatively and qualitatively, we came to the decision that it was a significant deficiency. Management is already in the process of implementing additional controls. And the controls were designed effectively. It was the operation of the controls that is where the errors occurred.
Does anybody have any question? Because those were really, yep.
This is just for the Jan 1 to June 30th. Was there a similar process undertaken for the second half of the last Metro Plus?
So the test work that we're doing now is similar to what we did for 12/31/24 and will be what we're in the process of doing for the second half of 25. So when we did that testing, it's a random sample. We didn't find similar scenarios. These were very specific types of claims that may be part of it.
Right. And then this process it will by necessity always be somewhat of a manual process, right?
Yeah, there is going to be some form of necessity of manual process. So, right, the kind of high level, the contracts are loaded into the system, right, for the rates that should be done based on the contract terms. There is a process, from what we understand, where it gets loaded in, it then gets reviewed to make sure the right rates for the right locations have been loaded in. If there are contract changes, right, that has to happen again. So yes, there is a manual portion of
yeah.
it.
So there's always some expectation we'll have some level of exceptions.
Yeah. Exactly, right.
Changes. So, is it, so this is, I think we saw somewhere maybe a small percentage of our total claims processes, is it?
It is a small percentage of your claims that had issues, and some of them will not repeat because of the type of claim it was as well. So it just happened to be a particular time period for that type of claim that had to be reimbursed. That's no longer eligible.
So from your experience, this isn't like compared to industry?
Oh, no,
Oh,
this
no,
is
this is
not
not unusual.
This is not
Yeah,
unusual
yeah.
compared to
Yeah.
industry. This is not something unique to Metro Plus.
Yep.
It happens.
But it's good to point out, and we're in striking the process of control, because I think you mentioned our control systems were good. They're just-
Yeah, it was the design was effective. It was the operation of the control. Do you have a question?
No, I was just about to say the same thing that you did. You can't necessarily monitor the operation of a control, so it's gonna happen.
Yes, and it's not to say that that sometimes controls won't operate effectively, right? That to your point will happen. It's just a renewed focus on making sure that everyone's aware and they do an extra check
Yep.
of the control as it's working through. So I know management has responded back of items that they're doing and additional reviews that they're adding in to hopefully mitigate potentially.
And excuse me if I missed this, but what was the financial implication of that?
So we did not, so we would never have you book to our estimate from what we sample because it's a sampling error. The one population that management did was they reprocessed the claims already, by the way.
For like $1 million.
It was $1 million or so of an impact.
But it was a positive
It was a
impact.
positive
impact.
overpayment.
Of $1 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's another population that's overpayment of like $330K.
Yeah, it was actually for the benefit of the organization,
So
right?
the actual amounts of known errors were smaller than what it would extrapolate to.
Exactly.
Again, why we wouldn't.
Well, that's why it was a significant deficiency, right? Because if it was a much larger, right, we would have had to then put a box around it being a material weakness.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
Sorry?
No, just any other
that-
questions?
Oh, no, that was it.
Okay, so thank you so much. Appreciate it, as
Great.
stated in the
Sorry.
letter too. Yeah.
Did you guys touch on this, that the material weakness we spoke about last year is resolved?
Yes, so I had just, in my opening comments, so
Okay,
that we,
sorry, I missed that.
yeah, so the way the HHC management letter is structured, that we do comment on any prior year management letter comments and to see if it's still in existence, right, or if it's been remediated. So this particular one was the only one that we had in the management letter last year that's been fully remediated. And management is working with the New York City actuaries to make sure that any modifications that happen to the actuarial review gets incorporated into their review. So there's no issues from what we looked at. Okay,
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
thank you so much. Happy holidays. to
Yes.
everyone.
Happy holidays,
Same,
thank you.
So we now move to internal audits update. Joseph?
Yes, okay. The first one's the external audit, which is Department of Corrections. This is City Comptroller's Office looking at the correctional health providing of services to the Department of Corrections. This audit, we just received the draft report a couple weeks ago. We will be responding back to the draft report, at which point we will then get a final report. The next item is language access. We received the final report on this. This audit is now complete. It came out in November. I think most people have seen that audit. We will have a final response back, which is due 180 days after the receipt of the final report, which would be, which we will be responding back to. The next item is just the status on the audits. We have 5 audits. 2 are completed, 3 are in progress. Should be completed relatively soon. The last item is auxiliary audits. This is one that's been out there for a while. We're trying to get it closed out. It's with the Friends of Harlem. We're working with the Bonadeo Group who does these audits to try to finally get it closed out, but they have to be provided the information to actually complete the audit. So at some point, we'll just have to go forward and decide what will be done with that one. Because we have been waiting for a while to get that information. But that's the, and after that, there'll be no more auxiliary audits done by us. Okay, that is the report that I have.
Okay, any questions
or anything?
from committee members?
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you so much. Now we move to Catherine.
Good morning, everyone. Just going over some of our activities that we have been involved with since the last meeting. The Office of Corporate Compliance launched a 2025 compliance survey, which was sent to all workforce members. And this year we used Gartner's survey to help in hopes, which they actually launched it for us. And we were hoping that using that would increase our response rate, but it doesn't look like it's been so much so far. But we're hopeful that it might be better, and it was open until December 5th for workforce members to respond to it. We are closing in on our 2025 general compliance and HIPAA training that is all due by December 31st. I've been sending emails to the facility and CEOs and department heads with lists of their individuals who have not completed the training, and they have been very good at sending out reminders to those people. And we are almost completed our 2026 general compliance and HIPAA training, which will be, everyone will be enrolled in January. And as I reported last time, we had our Corporate Compliance and Ethics Week was at the beginning of November, and we had a theme of be bold, be gold, follow the golden rules of compliance. Our compliance and privacy officers hosted tables at their facilities, and they provided information on compliance and got the workforce members engaged in games where they could answer. If they answered questions correctly, they got little prizes. We also hosted 3 webinars throughout the week, one on fraud, waste, and abuse, one on HIPAA, and another one on conflicts of interest. We had great attendance this year with over 4,000 attendees at each of the webinars. We also had puzzles to solve and test for their knowledge on compliance and HIPAA. This year we are again teaming up with internal audits to develop our fiscal year 2027 risk assessment. We're developing a risk assessment survey to send out to workforce members, management level workforce members, to get them to assign ratings to impact and likelihood of certain risks. And once those results are finalized, then we will interview members of the systems leadership. This was also a Gartner survey that we sent out. And next we have some metrics on comparing the third quarter metrics over the past 3 years on non-privacy cases. So we have had a little bit of an uptick, which is actually kind of good because that means that people are bringing things to our attention, which we would like them to do. And the next one is privacy cases, which we don't like to see, but there has been a little bit of an increase in those year over year. And the next one is the average days to close non-privacy cases, which has been steadily declining, which is a good thing that we're able to do that. And the next slide is the same analysis of privacy cases, which we're also closing out sooner than previous years. And this is a comparative analysis of non-privacy cases by facility. And each of them have with various years, and these are for non-privacy cases. And the next slide is the same thing for privacy cases. And then we have the types, issue types. As you can see, the majority of them are for the privacy concerns, and we also have some patient care, patient rights, which are mostly submitted by patients or family members, and then some misconduct and inappropriate behavior. Yes.
Can I ask a very probably basic question?
Sure.
I understand high level what's the difference between privacy versus non-privacy case, but why separate out the performance or metrics in that way? Like, is there a significant, like, in terms of numbers?
Sure,
Are there
sure.
significantly more privacy cases than non-privacy? Like,
There are, but the reason we separate them out is that privacy, for one thing, is the privacy cases we like to see go down.
right.
Whereas the non-privacy cases, we want that people to come forward and report. So it's not necessarily a good thing for it to go down. We want people to continue to report. So that's why we separate them out, because we want to ensure that the privacy cases, or hopefully the privacy cases, will be reduced.
And then you're defining a privacy case as a case that falls within HIPAA compliance, or is there another definition?
No, within HIPAA, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so what we're seeing as privacy cases here are people who are out of compliance with all this in HIPAA.
Right, well,
that was actually reported.
There were reports of non-compliance. It does not mean they were all substantiated.
And last thing is, these are employees bringing this up, or patients that say their rights weren't
Mostly
respected?
patients. We are required by the Office of Medicaid Inspector General to post our helpline publicly, so that Medicaid recipients are aware of our helpline and are able to use it to supposedly to report instances of potential fraud, waste, and abuse, but that's not what they are reporting typically.
But these reports are coming through that
To the helpline.
helpline.
Well, actually, the next
Only,
one.
or there are
No,
other
no. The
places?
next one is the intake method. So for the third quarter of this year, there's a almost equal amount coming through the helpline as there are through emails.
I think email.
Yeah. So we have it. There's many ways where they can come in. They can come in through these two methods. Some come from referrals from other offices. Some people call our office or call their compliance officer to report an issue.
Catherine, are most of the privacy ones still sort of people receiving someone else's information?
That is a fair number of them, but also because we have the patient privacy monitoring tool that allows us to identify potential unauthorized access to patient information.
Or those two are the bulk?
Yes.
Another question, is the fact that Bellevue and Kings County being the highest reporting, is that just because people are more effective at reporting, or?
There's also
are there,
the
like,
size of
problems?
the size of the facilities, yes. And they may be more inclined to make reports, but it's, I think a lot.
I think the size is,
Size, I think, is
Bellevue is
significant.
680 census. Some of NCB is a census of like 100. So you would expect, even if it were the same rate, you'd expect 6 times more at Bellevue than at NCB, right? So some of it is I'm NCB, I was looking at because it's down there.
Right.
Queens is another relatively small hospital. So the smaller hospitals numerically do have smaller, it almost perfectly climbs to
Yeah.
the size of the hospital.
Mhm.
Okay. What's the H and H?
Hmm?
The H and H? Facility.
I'm sorry. Oh, that's, basically, that's anything, I mean, I think that's what's coming out of central office.
I see.
Yeah. That's coming out of central office complaints.
That's interesting. Central office would have
Well, people,
issues outside of HIPAA. I mean, the not ME in compliance with
oh,
HIPAA,
they,
but they're not
they have, yeah, they
performing
have all
medical
kinds of,
treatments.
all types of, complaints that come out of, most of them, I think, have to do with, there's some misconduct, there's a lot of, issues on retaliation that are not necessarily, most of them are not really compliance-related retaliation, they're mostly HR, and they're mostly not really substantiated.
All of these are just reported, not substantiated.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And then the last slide is just, indicates, that we have, the difference between what are, reports that are anonymous and reports that are, where they're not anonymous. And unfortunately, the anonymous claims are a little bit of an uptick from previous years. We encourage people to identify themselves so that we can follow up with them to get more information in order to conduct a full investigation of the matter. Any other questions?
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So is there any old or new business to come before the committee? Hearing none, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Want to talk a few minutes before?
This meeting is no longer being recorded. This meeting is being transcribed and summarized.